So good afternoon, everyone. Jai Hind. It's a great honor to be doing the moderation for an important panel, and we have with us specialists in their own field, right from the government to the industry. Everyone is around. So the aim will be to make the best use of their expertise and listen to them. The topic for the panel is powering India's digital core and enabling future-ready governance. We can divide it into two parts. Basically, it talks about the digital core as the baseline and then enabling future-ready governance. So, as we talked about in the morning, that as a country, we are moving towards a 1 trillion digital economy. And the backbone of that is our digital core, which is coming about in the form of next generation data centers, secure cloud platforms, AI-ready networks, and resilient digital public infrastructure that support everything from citizen services to essential utilities. So that's one part. And now digital governance is not about just putting everything online. It's about building a connected, trusted, and intelligent foundation on which every department can innovate, whether it's health department or digital payments or education or smart mobility or power grids. I think that's the flexibility and the scalability which has to come about through this kind of a governance. So today's panel will be basically concentrating on a few issues, and we have amongst us people from the state e-governance and digital mission leaders are present from some of the states who will be sharing their experiences. Then we have technology and infrastructure experts. We have sectoral leaders from power, education, and core service delivery. And the panel will explore 4 key themes. The first one is regarding building an AI-ready, cloud-ready national digital core, as to what must states or the departments prioritize as demand for scale, speed, and as security grows. Second is ensuring reliability and resilience of whatever we put in place. The third is driving interoperability and cross-state collaboration. How do we really copy each other, replicate some of the best things happening in the other states, and how do we really do hand-holding, and transforming departments through digital infrastructure. So that's the basic aim of the panel, and with that as a little background, I think we'll straight away go on to our panelists to share their experiences, and we can start with Mr. Abhishek Anand, who is a Special Secretary, Excise, Government of Uttar Pradesh. And we will do it in the form of stories. I would just request you to share your experiences with how you are building up your infrastructure. And in the second part, how are you really utilizing that to govern our digital governance, or say intelligent governance. So every question is in 2 parts, and share your experiences in a story form so that we can all correlate to that. And thereafter, we'll open the house for some questions, and which we can share our experiences further. Over to you, please.
Thank you, sir. First of all, a very good afternoon to all my co-panelists and the esteemed audience here. And I would like to thank the organizers and Government of Odisha for hosting this amazing event. Currently, I am posted with the Excise Department, Government of UP. And Excise is a very critical sector in Government of UP. It's a very critical in terms of the revenue it generates for the government. And it helps build the infrastructure and helps fund many developmental schemes. Currently, I would like to give a brief introduction about the department. We have around 52,000 crore revenue, which we achieved last year in 2024-25. And this year, we have a target of 63,000 crores. In revenue side, we are the second largest department in UP, only a bit tad short of GST. And that's why the digital governance is very critical in this particular sector, because it's a regulatory department. Any leakage, any miscalculation can lead to loss of revenue, loss of important revenue, and can also lead to unfortunate events in excise, especially in terms of illicit liquor and illegal activities. So it's a very critical sector for digital governance. And we have a large and varied amount of stakeholders there. For example, if we talk about the supply chain system, we have large industries operating as distilleries, then we have small industries operating as bottling units, we have medium-sized entrepreneurs who act as warehouses and in transit warehouses, and then we have small retailers. The retailers numbers is huge given the scale of UP. We have around 27,000 retailers across the length and breadth of UP. We have around 200 distillers and 800 warehouses and bottling industries. So we have a large and varied amount of stakeholders. And the department also has around 2,500 excise officials monitoring this whole supply chain around this system. So currently, 4 or 5 years back, government decided to digitalize the whole process. So we can divide it into 3-4 main frameworks. The first framework was the business and government interface. It was completely digitalized, all the permissions, all the licensing, because you have to take license for all activities, all upgrades, all expansions, any type of product you want to change. So there are myriad licenses and regulatory permissions which emanate from excise department. So all of this was digitalized. There was no physical interface. You don't have to come to an office. You don't have to bring any documents to an office. You can all do this through Nivesh Mitra portal. Nivesh Mitra is a government to industry platform where you can take all types of permission. So all of the excise department activities are onboarded on Nivesh Mitra, and a time has been fixed so that there is an official responsibility that you have to give the license, you have to give the permission within 14 days, within 17 days, within 21 days, and we monitor all those activities. The first vertical was that we digitalized the whole business to government interface. The second thing was our supply chain management. We built a portal called Integrated Excise Supply Chain Management System, and it was integrated with all law and order departments and other departments who are stakeholders in this. And we monitor each and every activity starting from raw material sourced by distilleries to the retailers. The whole supply chain management across having more than 30,000 stakeholders is monitored completely by this dashboard. And we have digitalized each and every interface into it. For example, if I tell you the example of a distillery, we have digital alcohol meters based in radar-based sensors are there, ANPR cameras are there, mass flow meters are there, and all this data is integrated into a command and control center which is situated at Excise Commissioner's office. So every data which emanates from distillery, seeing the quantity of production, quality of production, the amount of alcohol they are producing, they are transporting to which bottling unit, which warehouses, everything is sourced in this centralized dashboard, and enforcement activities, regulatory activities, tax collection activities, all are based on this data. So we have to completely digitalize this interface. We have also introduced a system of digital lock, which was then emulated in other states also. Maharashtra emulated it 1 year back, seeing UP's successful model. So digital locker is put up on every truck transporting this product from distillery to bottling units or to warehouses. And this is tamper-proof, and this is monitored through GPS. It opens only at that duration of time when it has been supposed to reach the final destination, and it is open by the concerned officer only. And it can be completely monitored on this centralized dashboard. We have given tabs to all enforcement officials. They can also monitor this movement. Earlier, there was a lot of pilferage from this, mainly from this transportation, from distilleries to bottling units or from industrial distilleries also. So we have completely clamped down on this. The third interface is a small business and government interface. We have 27,000 retailers who operate in this sector. So we have digitalized that interface also. Earlier, the allotment system was based on paper. It was opaque. So completely, the last year government completely shifted to e-lottery mode of allotment of the shops. Across 75 districts, 27,000 shops were allotted, and the applicants were in very huge numbers. I think the applicants were in 20 lakhs or more than 20 lakh applications. These were all processed through e-lottery at a single time in the districts. And sir, when you talk about scalability and resilience of the system, I think it's a very good example that so many users logging on at the portal at the same time. And the portal, which Excise department designed with the help of the NIC, it performed very well. There was not a single issue with it. The e-lottery happened exactly as the way it was envisaged, and it happened within the timelines. Not a single complaint was received that anybody was dissatisfied from the process. So we have digitalized that interface also. And finally, another thing I want to add in retail sector is that we have also introduced point of sale machines, where all sale of the liquor from retailers to the final customer, that also happens through point of sale machines. So sitting in centralized dashboard, command dashboard, we can see which kind of material is being sold, and we can also, the distillers can also see it, and they can plan their supply chain, they can plan their logistics according to that. So that also helps in maximizing the revenue. There is not any logistical or supply chain issue that we have to, or the stakeholders have to worry about. So that changes we have introduced in retailer sector also. Recently, we have also digitalized the citizen interface also. We have built a citizen excise app where they can, when purchasing any alcohol product, they can scan the QR code on the bottle. We have a unique QR code and barcode on every bottle, which gives out all the information that where the product was distilled, where it was bottled, where it was warehoused, who is the wholesaler, and who is the retailer. So all this information is contained in the single QR code barcode, which is tamper-proof, and it is done with a unique hologram also, and an excise commissioner's signature is also digitally printed on that. So that customer is also very sure about the product he is buying, because this sector is very sensitive to illicit liquor. If any illicit liquor incident happens, it reflects badly on the whole department and the state also. And I'm very happy to share with all of you that in last 3 years, no such incidents have happened in the state of UP. So this points to resilience of our systems also, that it has been made tamper-proof and error-free. So we have introduced this app also, that when buying any product, you can get all the details about this. You get the reliability of the product, the truthfulness of the product, you can yourself check. So all this have contributed to an increase in revenues. During the last 2 years, Excise department has seen 15 to 20% increase in revenues every year. Last year, we have achieved 52,000 crores. This year, we are on the target of achieving 63,000 crores. And currently, we have achieved around 92% of the cumulative target for November. So I think it's being a state like UP where much more developmental resources are needed, because we are in a stage of development where we need much more investment from state public sector. So this revenue critical sector generating a lot of revenue using this digitalization, plugging all the revenue gaps, all the leakages, and digitalizing every interface with the business also. This has helped a lot. And I'd also like to share about the investment opportunities it has brought. In last 2 years, around 20 new distilleries have been set up in the government of Excise Department, government of UP. And this year also, we have received proposals worth 30,000 crore just for investment in the excise sector. Because of all this interface and licensing being made digitally enabled, so people and investors are also more confident about approaching the state and doing their business there. So I would like to share this example so that we can see that if we digitalize our government systems, if we make a resilient and scalable system, then we can see results in our revenue collection, whatever our aims are. The aims and objectives of the excise department is to maximize the revenue collection so that government gets funds for its own development. So we have achieved that aim, and I think the excise department is on right track to promote more digital infrastructure so that we can achieve even more revenue targets about it. Thank you.
Thank you. So in India, everything is at scale. So whenever you want to do something, you should think of scale first, and before you really. So I just wanted to ask you a quick follow-up question with respect to, since you are generating so much of revenue, and it's such a large network. Have you ever thought of, declaring it as a critical infrastructure and a protected system, or are there any thoughts on doing that? You may or may not answer at the moment, but you can think about it. All right?
Thank you, sir. Sir, we have not declared it as a critical or protected infrastructure. It is being hosted currently by NIC, and we have been assured by NIC that it's sufficiently tamper-proof for that. But I think it's a very good suggestion, and being so much critical to UP government's revenue targets and this, we can surely positively think about this. And I assure you, sir, that we will think about it and take positive steps in this regard.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your consideration. So we'll now switch to Mr. Sano, who is from the Kerala, Head of Innovation and Research, Kerala State IT Mission. And as you're aware, Kerala has been at the forefront of digital innovation. So I would like to ask you as to how do you prioritize the key technologies which will shape our future and future of the governance, as also you may like to suggest some collaborative models between academia, startups, government, and which the other states can also, look at. So your thoughts on these two issues. Over to you, please.
Thank you, sir. Once again, thank you for having me here. I was fortunate to attend one session in the morning also, sir. So now I will just brief the Kerala story. So basically, very recently we had this Vision 2031 seminar we conducted as part of the evolution that should happen in the department. So basically what we assessed was the foundations that has been kept in the last 10 years, sir. So basically Kerala was a state focused on human development indices. Now from that, now we are planning for some innovation in, already we are, as you mentioned, already we are into some innovative projects and innovations, initiatives as such, moving on to more of that and development inclusive of all these digital technologies and human development indices. That's what we are planning. So over the past decade, when it comes to digital governance, most of our services are almost near 100% services are online. Then we declared internet as a right actually. Then we have this model portals like Ende Bhoomi, e-health, then K-Smart, LSGD services, we have an integrated system now, exclusively for local self-governance. Then when it comes to infrastructure and economic growth, our IT workspace expanded from 13 to 22 million square feet, catering over 1,160 companies. Green in nature, when it comes to technology, technoparks in Kerala, green technoparks we have. Then when it comes to startup and innovation ecosystem, we grew from 300 to 7,000 actually, startups. Then when it comes to education and human capital, AI was introduced in the school curricula. That's maybe for the first time we are doing that. 𝐃𝐢𝐠 is taking care of that project actually. One of the panel members was CEO 𝐃𝐢𝐠. He was not able to make due to the indigo issues. No? So when it comes to government officials, we are actually taking up the responsibility of training them in generative AI tools and everything. I mentioned that in the morning also. We have an initiative called Vidya AI. We combine Vidya with AI and nearly reaching 1,000 officers now, including 89 All India Service officers as well. When it comes to emerging technologies, we have the Digital Science Park, Graphene Innovation Center, Maker Village. Even we have a Kerala Space Park as well. So that even aerospace and advanced material technologies are also taken care of. So as I have mentioned, these are the foundations which we already have, sir. So next 5 years we have, Vision 2031, we call it as Recode Kerala. We are going to recode, okay. So first strategy is like future tech infrastructure we need to develop to expand our workspace to 50 million square feet, so that we can come up with some AI-enabled technology cities, private IT park facilitation, fully green, resilient and 5G ready infrastructure. We have this K-phone as well. It's called Kerala Fiber Optic Network, sir. Actually, 30,000 kilometers of fiber optic networks we have connected. Nearly 30,000 offices are connected. 75,000 households have been given free internet. Even we are able to peep into or drill down into those internet shadow areas as well, including some tribal hamlets and tribal villages. When it comes to startups and entrepreneurship, our aim is to build up to 20,000 startups in the next 5 years, catering 5 lakh jobs. And in investment promotion and GCCs, our target is to bring up to 120 GCCs, which will be able to give up to 2 lakh high value jobs. Then digital governance and innovation, I am briefed in the morning, so I am not going into that. Citizen experience friendly and public service oriented service we are planning. K1 I have already mentioned. Then we are planning for a Kerala cloud. GPU clusters, you mentioned about collaboration with academia and the startups, no? Even our previous IT secretary's plan was to give cloud as a service, if possible. So GPU clusters and cloud as a service is our plan. Future skilling, we have this AML oriented quantum computing, robotics, cyber security, cloud VLSA, etc. Our core agency is the Digital University of Kerala. We have a university exclusively for digital innovation. Then R&D is one of our key focus areas. Then in the next budget, we have already submitted some new missions also, ideas from our Special Secretary IT. So I'll just name them: Kerala AI mission, then semiconductor mission, emerging tech mission called Accelerate Kerala. Next is this audiovisual ABGC XR policy. So these are some of the innovations listed or planned for the next 5 years, building on the foundations already set, sir. This is the short Kerala story, as I mentioned. Then the key contributing factors for all these development is the high level of literacy among Kerala people, sir. Nearly universal digital literacy also acquired, sir. Then internet penetration is also very high, even though there are still some internet shadow areas. That's all, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for those thoughts. I think every state in its own way is doing great job, whether it is AI mission or laying down certain policies and frameworks with respect to that. And lots of innovation is happening in your state, which is commendable. Thank you for those thoughts. I'll now switch to Ms. Ananya Das, IAS. She is the State Project Director in Odisha State Education Program Authority, Government of Odisha. And I would like you to share your thoughts on preparing students by tracking learning outcomes is one, and use of technology for governance and evidence-based policy making in education. So your thoughts on these two issues, please.
Thank you, sir. Like you spoke in the beginning that anything that we do in India is at scale. So I think technology in education has started expanding over the last few years in particular, from one standalone computer class back in our days when we were in school. It is now everywhere, to the extent that when I joined in this department, I realized that EdTech was a thing. That EdTech was a separate sector on its own, with very well-defined vendors, high turnover companies, and as well as a very bright startup ecosystem. So how did it come to this is also an interesting part. I think it really took off around COVID, when our children were staying at home and they did not have access to physical classrooms, and everyone realized that how positively disruptive technology can be. So we got into a whole world of e-content, virtual classrooms, and the same thing happened in Odisha as well. So we had virtual classrooms operating in many districts. We had e-content which was given for the schools, for the classrooms, different even quizzes were taken online. So all these things really came in at that point of time. And from then on, it evolved at the national scene as well. I don't know how familiar people who are not from education would be with the Diksha platform. So that's a platform which has been launched by the Government of India for teacher training. Mixed reviews have been got on that, but it has also been useful in many fronts. At the same time, we have access to very large and useful databases now in education. There is UDICE Plus at the Government of India level, which every state operates upon, and that really helps us track various different infrastructure issues, which are directly linked to learning outcomes. Coming to learning outcomes in particular, there was a realization somewhere that e-content cannot replace teachers. there was that realization that only e-content, when administered in a classroom without a proper blended learning approach, often led to sliding learning outcomes. So then came the idea of adaptive learning. I'm sure many of your children who are in school are also using many of these technologies which are there. So right now, by adaptive learning, the technology has gone up to a level when it already knows that which are the hard spots, which are the, for example, if a child is learning numbers, LCM, HCF, maybe place value is something they're struggling with. So they know what are the struggle areas. Along with that, when a child undertakes that process, if he answers that question correctly, he is moved to a higher difficulty level. If not, they're taken through concepts that help him or her build the learning levels. So technology has now reached every learner in that sense. In Odisha as well, we are implementing a specific STEM initiative which uses AI in between class 6 to 12. So we also have introduced an AI chatbot in OAV schools, which has helped children track their own progress. At the same time, there has been a lot of progress in the way it has helped us in even tracking reading proficiencies. So oral reading fluency, or ORF as we call it. Now there are very successful models who are tracking children's reading frequency and the way their pronunciation works. And these work on large language models which have been trained for a particular language in a particular state. So we are going through that process now in Odisha. We'll be starting very shortly. And so that model is trained in various districts, in various areas, so that regional dialects are also covered. So in this way, education department has also been slowly at the learning level, learning outcome level, been also influenced by digital innovations. Coming to your second part, sir, where you spoke of governance and evidence-based policy making. Evidence-based policy making has been at the forefront of the way we make our project approval plans for the Government of India as well. The UDICE database, which contains data about every school, helps us plan out our infrastructure requirements, and based on that we propose whatever development is to happen. Regarding certain specific outcomes, whether it is the reduction of dropouts or special initiatives for children with special needs, states also undertake different surveys. For example, we have undertaken a survey called Odisha Shiksha Sarvekshan in 2025, which gave us the child level data on dropouts. We had an offline survey tool through which teachers went to different households. It was a census level survey. We covered 90 lakh households. 1.6 lakh teachers were there in the process, and we utilized an offline tool which was then collated at the district level and state level, which gave us individual student data on dropouts. And this data was then developed into a dashboard with the help of IIT Madras, and it has helped us a lot in the sense that you'd be happy to know that in around 4 months, we have managed to mainstream around 60,000 students in regular and open schooling because of this granular level data that we had. So we could sort the data, we could take out trends. We saw that children with special needs were, more vulnerable towards dropping out. What was the propensity of them? What was the concentration of those children? So all that data could be found out because of technology, because of the way we are operating at this scale now. And at the same time, Odisha, there was another aspect which this survey opened us up to. We did not think that it was possible at that point to have a linguistic map of Odisha. Odisha is a very linguistically diverse state. So you have different tribal languages operating inside the state. So now when we speak of mother tongue based multilingual education, so getting that data was very tough. कि आप कहाँ पे क्या पढ़ाएंगे, किस language में आप start करेंगे, whether would you start in Santhali in pocket A or pocket B, would you define a district as a MLE district or would you define a school as a MLE school. So with this data, when we captured the child level home language, we managed to get the pockets where a particular mother tongue was spoken. And based on that, sir, we are now mapping out these schools so that we can have multilingual education teachers as well as a bilingual curriculum for these schools. So data in many ways helps us in granular micro level planning with positive implications for the future. Now education is a slow sector. So whatever investment we made yesterday gives the return today. Whatever investments we are making today will probably show in a couple of years. But it is the data which has allowed us to make these decisions. And that is why even in social sectors, data and technology and AI have been very useful, albeit we'll have to see the way in which they are administered in classrooms. And since we are dealing with children, there is a certain amount of ring fencing that is done when instruction is given in these regards. But I would say that in many ways, it has helped us be better administrators and take better decisions for the field realities. Thank you, sir.
Excellent. I think very well put, and I think data is something which the government is really harnessing in a very, very systematic way, wherein they are carrying out surveys, picking up data, and the decision making is based on the hardcore data which they are collecting. I think kudos to you in the way you are systematically doing this work, great work. Also, she mentioned about, oral reading fluency, something very interesting. Linguistic issues, very interesting. Also, she mentioned about AppTech. AppTech was a revolution in our country. And we've also been propagating that in cybersecurity also we need this kind of a revolution where we have a lot of, all work cannot be done by the government alone. Everyone has to come together. The private sector has to come together. There has to be a lot of PPP models. There has to be at every corner small little institutions teaching cybersecurity. Since I deal with that, so I'm talking of cybersecurity, but that same holds with the digital, transformation issues, the core infrastructure issues also. And also, since we are talking of education, learning, I also propagate a strategy called Unlearn, Learn strategy, wherein in case your mind has got fixated, you need to unlearn something and learn fresh. It is similar to what is reskilling, reskilling for a specific area of work. And for cybersecurity, we do talk about this. So very interesting thoughts have come from you. Thank you so much. We now switch to Mr. Devrat Naik. Yeah, and he's the CTO, Digital India Corporation, and Director, NAGD, METI. And I would like to ask you, you are also doing a great work, and your platforms like DigiLocker, Umang, Diksha, all that is in place. And I would like to ask you as to what should be the next stage of national digital architecture focus on to support AI era governance and hyperscale citizen services. That's one. And the second is how is NAGD approaching secure cloud adoption, data exchange, and digital identity to ensure that the digital India ecosystem remains trusted, interoperable, and future-proof. So 2 issues. Over to you, please.
Sir, good afternoon. I think our time is up. You will give me at least 5 minutes to talk. So,
don't worry about that time.
Okay. I think all of you have a DigiLocker account and you are being COVID vaccinated, right? Okay. So why I am coming to COVID vaccination as well as the DigiLocker architecture. So building this as a part of the country, we, in the morning also lots of speakers are talking about the DigiLocker as a part, right? When we talk about the architecture of this type of things, then we say that, okay, we as a country, the scale is important, right? If I have to build for Estonia or any other country, it could have been very simple to do as a part. When we inaugurated in the July of 2015 and around August or something, we are having a 1 million of the accounts within 2 months of the time. Now we are having a 60 crores account inside the DigiLocker, and we are growing by another 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs every day. another 2027 most probably will cross 1 billion. So point here is the country like India is the scale and performance, and also now in the today where we are being looking at Zepto, Zomato, Swiggy and Instagram and other things, then always you being measured by their performance, and you have to benchmark your system to their usability. And I think in the morning meeting, I think Speaker Sir was talking about the usability part of the things. In the country like India, when you are being in a challenge, actually challenge is not the part of my question, but I think that the challenge is in the country like India is the multilingual, accessibility, right, usability. These are the few factors you have to also consider as a part of your architecture. So when I looked at these two platforms, I say that you build, because these are the platforms, because they are looking at two things. One is the architecture as a part of open architecture, as a part whoever and wherever. You go to the Paytm, you can access the DigiLocker. You go to the UMO, you can access the DigiLocker. The similar way building the COVID also, the similar architecture we proposed as a part of the inside. Okay, you go to any vaccination center or any app to book your vaccination for booking your vaccination. Okay. So point here is again, when you are being into this type of system, you have to think out an open architecture to take it. Then as a part of the government, what your role is to, definitely your role is to consent, security, privacy of the data, and you protect it altogether, right? And the other side of the things is the consumer side, whoever, whatever the app the people will come, then automatically you take care of the things. So in the modern architecture, you want to build this type of systems, so definitely the consent is the most important for all of us. And technologically, you have to address that. That is why that you, whoever and whoever, like the great example is Paytm and Uber linking. There is a similar way, all wallets links to a financial app. Now the UPI is now coming up as a part of, to addition to the things that every system you can go and to have a UPI QR code scan and you can pay for it. So these are the modern architecture we're talking about. I think in the AI era, if you want to succeed, then that definitely you have to have every system in the country, they should have to adopt this type of architecture. Otherwise, you will say that you will fail miserably as a part in the AI world. Why you will fail? Because if you look at the AI world, now what we are doing with the chatbot we are coming out, everybody is fancy about the chatbot, they are putting the information, getting out of the information. But when you are talking about the real power of the AI, then what you will talk about then how the interconnected system should talk together as a fact. When you talk about the AI agents to work around you, then definitely everybody should have an API to talk. Just look at the architecture of the telecom, that you are in the Jio, you are talking to another person in the Airtel. So whole communication channel is moving around, you don't know what is happening in the behind. The similar way the e-governance systems should work together. Definitely one of the first part is consent. Second part is, then you have to take the consent. Then your API architecture to handle it, that authentication, authorization, who is the person, and then the third part is, now the role of AI agents will come as a part of, now the AI agent will be authorized by me or you or somebody, okay, to work for you. So that is the new world, new architecture is coming up as a part, you have to authorize. That is why that I always say that now you, as a government officer, you have become a personal secretary. Now the new world is coming up, AI agents as a part of everybody to help you out as public. So the modern architecture we are talking about, yes, you say something, automatically translate, taking your voice, taking your name, automatically filled up the forms, and automatically you get the services. You don't have to have a forms to fill up. Why that everybody is talking about, I want to form to be filled up? No, you don't have to altogether. Just giving another example, where we are and what is the plan to be. I think the DigiLocker as a part of looking at your wallet, that your Aadhaar, driving license, PAN is there. Now we're talking about you are taking the consent, can I open up the accounts in the Zerodha or any banks? So is it possible as a part of, in the one click, you can also submit your form even without knowing, you not displaying your form, rather than the data as a part of your wallets, then you give the consent, then automatically you get the services. So this is the new modern world is coming up. You don't require any forms to be there inside that I want to fill up, or somebody is talking to me that, okay, there is a voice enabled form filled up. It's a very simple things to do as a part of in the AI world right now. But the way forward as a part of, just looked at, as a citizen, I should get my services, I say, identify myself, then automatically government should detect that the person who or which scheme the person needs to be as a part of targeted. So Now the reversal of the things is whether citizen will apply for the services or government should track the beneficiary and to address the problems. So there are the two things is happening as a part, right? In the AI to be there as a part of a state or every state, no states I found that they don't have any API policy as a part of that, that this department will give this API to the other departments. So that is not available as a part of any IT department. I have not seen in the country. But yes, there is a policy for a APIs. If you are not coming out your API policy, then AI policy will not work. So that is one of the statement I am leaving to all of you. Think about, we got as a part of DigiLocker across the states for so many years that some APIs are being opened up because of the DigiLocker. But if you look at the data sharing between around the different ministries, different programs, that is not there. It's some way, it's not mandated. Then the second way, there is no service level agreement with the things across the states. So this is one of the challenged area as a part of taking it forward. Then the second question to as a part of what we are doing as a part of NEGD. Yes, sir, we are being into the API Setu. That is why that we say that every API is to publish as a part of the government policies, that at least the other side see and build their own products. That is why we say that looking at the DigiLocker, if you're looking at the other side of the architecture as a part, thousands of the partners are now taking your consent and giving your account opening in the Zerodha, Bank of ICICI Direct, and this type of things, where your identification can be proved on the basis of the DigiLocker identification document like Aadhaar, driving license, PAN, and other documents. So this is happening for the last so many years. We already serving around 10 lakhs users every day as a part of in the service way. That I think nobody knows what is happening around us, around the DigiLocker. That is all. So other side of the things, we are bringing the issue documents, which are the government issue documents, or also insurance documents, or other side of the private banking account documents also. That is also almost we are reaching 900 crores. So our philosophy is going forward as a part of, one is bringing the DigiLocker services with the DigiLocker in the single cloud, as a part of making more user-friendly, as a part of the things, so that citizen can get that services easily in the one-click way. Now the second part is we are also bringing the authenticator app inside the DigiLocker, so that it is a two-factor. One is the identity attached, as well as it is the authenticator app. So it will give, one aspect is most of the application is a secure channel. One aspect is they log in, they go through the portal, and the authenticator and the two-factor they can do with the DigiLocker. So identity can be proved also. Then third part is we also built a data exchange platform also around it, also that API Setu, that is why that we publish the APIs. So three things already being there as a part of in our architecture, and we are now adding AI to top of it as a part of how that voice-enabled services can be enabled through the DigiLocker services. Thank you.
Thank you. I will not labor much on repeating what he said. A lot of good points have come about, and now I'll request Mrinal to give us some industry perspective and also some recommendation to the government, to the state governments, as also to the central government, as to what are your thoughts and what should we be doing from the industry perspective point of view. Over to you, please.
Thank you, sir. First of all, hearing all of you and all the conversations that I have been having with all the esteemed people that we have here, I can definitely witness that there's an extraordinary shift in the way governance and public services are being delivered or are being envisaged to be delivered. But to your question, sir, I think, and especially the way you explained, as we are moving towards all the sophisticated applications and the way we are consuming more and more data. End of the day, it's all driven with data, right? All the insights and analytics that we spoke about eventually boil down to one thing, that the digital infrastructure has become all the more critical now. But what I personally believe, sir, I think we've done an amazing job in terms of creating applications, creating all the services that are there. But I don't think as a country we've done a good job in creating the right infrastructure. When I say that, it's very simple. It's like having fancy cars here with Teslas and everybody coming in, but we don't have the right roads. So what's the point of having cars which can go up to 300 kilometers per hour when the road is not capable of doing that? I think that's the gap that I definitely see in the industry today. And that's where, especially when it comes to state governments, I think at least the critical infrastructure is being taken care of. Whatever modernization is happening at a great pace. But I think we are still way behind in terms of what we have to do. Three things that I would recommend everybody when you are looking at modernizing your infrastructure is, first is, since you're building something new or you are upgrading or refreshing or whatever you're doing, given the way the workloads are increasing, you have real-time data that you have to take care of. There's so much of analytics, there's so much of security monitoring that's happening, there's so much of video intelligence that's there right now. There are so many public services that we're delivering. The network has to evolve accordingly. So no longer can static pipes work for you, right? So what we have to do is we have to look at networks which are self-correcting, which are analytics-driven, and they work like a system and give you a real-time visibility into what's happening in your entire environment, and are automated in a way that they troubleshoot themselves. They should be self-healing. Like sir said about the telecom networks. In telecom, I think we've reached a stage where I don't think we ever face those problems in terms. Very rarely do you see outages on the telecom side, right? Because the systems are way advanced, they are software defined, they are self-healing in nature, and that's where now a lot of AI is also being used there. I think that still needs to be done, especially on the government infrastructure when you talk about citizen services and the governance services that we're talking about. Second, like to sir's point, from an architecture standpoint, it is absolutely broken. The data center runs in a silos, the campus runs in a silos, the remote branch runs in a silos. State governments don't talk to each other. Central and state doesn't talk to each other from an architecture standpoint. So that's something that we should consider when you are, we should have one consistent programmable infrastructure. And that should be elastic, that should be API driven, that should be scalable across departments. And if you have to roll out new services, you could rapidly do that if you had something like this, to sir's point, right? Why we are not able to do it? Because the architecture is not consistent. So that's an area where we need to have an open architecture which is API driven, elastic, and scalable. Third, last but not the least, is security, right? So we need to deploy zero trust security at scale. It can't be an afterthought. You can't just put a firewall on top of a solution and assume that now you're secure, right? So that's where we have to ensure that we have to provide continuous identity verification. Like sir said, you have two-factor authentication and things like that. That has to be a continuous thing. Micro-segmentation has to be enforced in everything that we're doing. All the flows should be encrypted by default. So zero trust is not a single tool, right? It's like the architectural foundation that ensures trustworthiness across every user, every device, and every application. So if the states and the centers adopts these three principles, which is one is AI native operations, cloud grade simplicity, and zero trust security, I think our digital backbone would be no less than any global superpower that you see today. And we have the right tools and technologies available. It's all about adopting.
Thank you. Thank you for those inputs. I'll put some of them in the summing up. Any questions from the audience, please? Any questions? Anyone? Yeah, please. Somebody can give him a mic. Mic. No, I think you can use a mic. People like me can't hear. I'm wearing a 3 dB pad here and another one here.
Hello, yes. My name is Mohammad Mujibullah Khan. I'm Director IT from NIC Bhubaneswar. I have a question for UP and Kerala that how do you deal with e-waste of the electronic items using information technology in your state? And second question to Naik sir, that you are talking of the digital locker. There is also another locker, that is entity locker, being provided by your organization. Can you put light on the entity locker as well? Thank you.
Please.
The success of the digital locker and building an ecosystem around it, the similar thought process to have inside of the DigiLocker also are now coming out health locker, financial locker, educational locker. So these are all sub-components of the DigiLocker. That is what that we have thought out, and that is coming up already as a part. The second aspect was we are going through as a part of how to make organization locker, where that the how DigiLocker works. That is the where that issuer is issuing a document and citizen having their own wallets. Then the service providers will ask the citizen, give the consent and provide the document in the So document it at one place, and end of the day, you are giving the consent and automatically you are getting a service. If you look at the current architecture is, what the next architecture we are proposing right now is, can that be inside the DigiLocker wallet, you open up your bank account. That is the future we are being planning without having a form altogether. You don't have to see a form, right? Why you require to be there? So automatically that you have the data, you have the all identified data from the issuer. So automatically you should get the services. That the similar thought process as a part of all documents of a entity should be in one place. Entity should not go everywhere around to provide the same documents everywhere. So that the thought process is, yes, to get like gem documents. If there is a purchase of an order of a gem, so automatically that entity should get that, and what the entity is required. Entity should go for a loan, right? Or some go to another financer, okay, this is the actual issuing order from the government marketplace, I got it, then I want to have a loan. The similar aspect, if you look at that GSTN filings, GSTN verification, PAN verification, if you look at the similar identification of an organization should happen in the same digital space. Then organization will have to provide every time the bunch of documents to prove themselves. So that is why the thought process is bring it all together as a part. But the only question is why that we are being a little bit struggling. That is why that I always say that there is no mandate as a part to provide a API. So we are all talking about a country like India and lots of things, but there is no, frankly speaking, I'm struggling for this also. If you get the passport around after 10 years, we got a passport API to verify yourself. That is why all the banks are asking for the passport verification, because if you are going for a loan for as a student or something to go out, so they require a passport verifications. Also, similar way that you as a student, you are going for similar way of passport verification, because lots of areas where that passport gives you added advantage if you look at the currently in respect to the Aadhaar also. So somebody wants to prove your address and other things, they will take a passport, because that passport is verified in the police officer going to your place. So passport having an added advantage by the requesters. So similarly, we are not getting a organization verification as a part. Yes, if you look at the Aadhaar, we have a very clear-cut identity verification, but as a part of GSTN and also PAN, so that is why that we are being little bit struggling to how to enable that. But now we are coming out some way that the person will be identified. I am also working out MCA 21 also, that is also one of the APIs you are being asking for them, so that we can verify all these processes. Then on the basis of that, the organization should also get the issued documents who are being, so like a work order of, like from the tender, the tender portal also, in the GM also, GSTN also. So that is what that we are being working as a together as a, but to get all these documents. So I think this is the new era will start as a part of the entity locker, but still there is a long way, because we don't have a policy, frankly speaking, for the API sharing, API SLA. There is no mandate. It is a purely bureaucratic control. If you want, you can stop API. So that's why that people ask me when you will go for a monetization of the DigiLocker. I don't know. I can't go there because there is no SLA. If you ask for the money, then automatically I have to bind with the SLA of that. So there is no SLA altogether. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question?
My first question left out for UP and Kerala. How do you deal with the e-waste of the electronic items using information technology in your states? If you can answer, it will be so nice of you.
Actually, to be very honest with you, I have not worked in that particular area, but we are managing with our Clean Kerala company. We have this scrapping policy also in Kerala. So basically, it's not like start, scrap everything in a single go. We try to, sort of a circular economy model also we are employing. Then ultimately, e-waste companies, maybe this Clean Kerala company is closely in association with other tech giants also. That's my limited knowledge.
Somebody else had a question. Yeah, please go.
I would like to know from SPD OSEPA, like I am from the STSC Development Department. Like OSEPA is handling a lot of data on the school from the block level to the district level and all that. So our schools, which are also located in tribal areas, mostly in tribal areas, we have a data requirement gap which so very well managed by Smita madam and Namita madam, but every time you don't want to disturb them because they are always engaged in such hectic activities. So we want a parallel, this type of Oracle engine में अगर हम लोगों का एक डिपार्टमेंट का एक लॉगिन आईडी पासवर्ड रह जाता तो नॉर्मल हम लोगों का जो एनरोलमेंट आता है तो जो टीचर का पोजीशन आता है तो which we can get very easily from them, but we have to every time give a request to Smita madam. Smita madam might be busy in some sort of work and all those things. So
we can work on that. We'll have to ask Government of India for a separate departmental login. Let us check if that is feasible. Otherwise, queries can always be sought. But I understand your concern that on a day-to-day basis for decision making also it can help you.
So last time adjournment motion was there where a dropout data was needed.
Yes.
So Namita madam was very busy at that time with school and mass education department. In spite of that, she gave us the data on the right moment and we could answer the question.
We understand your concern. We'll try to work it out with Government of India for a separate departmental login.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Just I'll take a minute to sum up. And as I see, I think every state is doing a great job. But as he said, a lot of it happens in the silos. And therefore, the lesson from the panel or this complete workshop or seminar is that we need to all collaborate, talk to each other. And in fact, this is the platform which provides that kind of a a platform where we all meet. It's a great opportunity to meet all the officers from the states, government, industry, the academia, everyone. So I think we should have this more often. There's a great platform and we should have a lot of interaction between center and state, state to state. And I think we should do a lot of hand-holding and so that the same model which has come about in a successful manner in one state can be replicated to other states. That's a big key takeaway, I feel, and we need to collaborate on that. And security at scale is something which we all need to think of. With that, I think what remains for me is to thank the panelists for great insights into what you have covered. And also thanks to the audience for being listening very carefully and patiently.